All right, today we're going to dive into something called the golden receipt trap. It's a story about how an investment that's supposed to be rock solid can turn into a total nightmare. And believe it or not, it all comes down to a simple piece of paper.
You know, it's the one question we all ask ourselves, right? Is my money really safe? You think you've built this fortress for your savings, but what if there's a hidden back door you don't even know about? Well, we're going to follow one investor who found that back door the hard way.
So our story starts with a guy who could be any one of us, really. He worked hard, he saved his money, and he just wanted to find a safe place to park his wealth, somewhere to protect it from the crazy swings of the market.
So what's his move? He goes for the classic safe haven asset, gold. He walks right into his bank, a place he trusts, and puts down $100,000 for gold. I mean, it seems like a no-brainer, doesn't it? It's solid, it's tangible, it's timeless, or so he thinks.
And this is where things start to get a little tricky. It brings us to our first section, the paper illusion. Because what he walked out of that bank with, well, it wasn't exactly what he thought he was buying.
So, the deal is done. But here's the twist. Instead of getting heavy gold bars, the teller just hands him this crisp, official-looking certificate. It's basically a receipt. And all the while, the actual, physical gold bars, they never even leave the bank's vault.
And yeah, there's a name for this. It's called paper gold. It can be a certificate, a digital entry, pretty much anything that says you own gold, but it isn't the actual metal itself. Think of it like an IOU. It's a promise from the bank that they're holding the real thing for you.
A great way to visualize this is to think of it like a game of chess. The physical gold, the real tangible stuff, that's your queen. It's the most powerful piece on the board, the real deal. But this paper gold, this certificate, that's more like a rook. Still valuable, still powerful, but it's not the queen. It's just a claim on the queen. So our investor, he feels totally secure. He's holding the proof of his wealth right there in his hands. But he's so focused on that piece of paper, on that rook, that he completely misses the heavy thud of the vault door locking behind him. He's just been separated from his real asset, his queen. And that little detail, that separation, is about to become critically important, which brings us right to our next section. When the market breaks.
And then it happens. A massive, systemic financial crisis just erupts. Suddenly, markets are in freefall, currencies are tanking, and panic is spreading like wildfire. The exact instability he was trying to protect himself from is now here.
So he does the only logical thing. He grabs his gold certificate and rushes back to the bank. In a crisis, promises on paper are cheap, right? He wants to trade in his paper rook and claim his physical queen, the actual gold bars he's sure are waiting for him.
But this is where the story takes a sharp turn, leading us right into the fine print trap.
So he gets to the front of the line, he presents his certificate, and he demands his gold. But the bank teller is calm, just explaining that there's a process for this. It's all in the emergency rules. And buried deep in those rules is a clause he never ever saw coming.
And there it is, buried in the fine print of his agreement, a single line that changes absolutely everything. Cash settlement only. What that means is, in the event of a crisis, the bank is not actually obligated to give him his physical gold.
So, what does that single line of fine print really mean for our guy? Well, it leads us directly to our final act. Winner takes all.
Because of that clause, the bank gets to fulfill its obligation by just handing him cash. But in a full-blown financial crisis, that cash is becoming worthless. The hyperinflated paper money he's being handed is worth just a fraction of the gold he was trying to protect.
So here's the bottom line. The investor, he ends up with a pile of devalued cash, the rook. The bank, on the other hand, gets to keep the physical gold, the queen. Real, tangible wealth has just been legally transferred from the individual right to the institution.
And what's crazy is, it's a completely legal move, all because of that fine print. This creates what the source material we're looking at calls an unfair advantage. The whole system is designed so that in the moment you need that protection the most, you find out your safety net was really just a piece of paper.
So this all brings us to one critical, final question. What do you really own?
Look, this entire story boils down to one simple, powerful lesson. A piece of paper that says you own something is not the same as actually holding that something in your hand. A promise to pay is not the payment itself.
And that leaves us with a final thought. The next time